I need a card for an upcoming occasion, and I'm going to paint this one. And I thought you might like to just see the process. I'm using my Daniel Smith watercolors today. And to begin, I'm just going to wet the surface of this card because I want to paint the beginning of this very wet and wet. This is 100% cotton watercolor card. I will link them in the description below. So far, I'm pretty pleased with them. The paper will want to move a little bit. I have it taped down. I've taped it with my Holbein soft tape and then with some washi tape just to a cutting mat to kind of, keep it flat. I mean, I didn't tape down this side, but I think it'll be fine. Okay, so once that is wet, I'm going to start. I want to do like night scene, lots of, like the galaxy, like the Milky Way, lots of stars, and then like you're standing in the trees, looking up at the sky. That is the goal. That is the goal for today. So I'm going to start here in the center, kind of diagonal. And I'm going to grab a little bit of my wisteria. And I'm going to drop some of that in. Wisteria is a color that has PW6 in it. So it is a little bit more opaque. And I'm also going to use lavender, which is another color by Daniel Smith that has some PW6 in it. And they're going to mix and give me some really lovely purples. And the colors are going to dry lighter than they're showing here. So I am going to drop a little extra pigment in. And I'm painting right through where I even where I know I'm going to want my trees. Because those paint right over this. Okay, so now I need to darken up around here. I'm going to grab some neutral tint. Just come right in. And I'm choosing neutral tint because although I want my sky to be really dark, I still want to see my trees show up if I paint them with black. I want this to like mix and mingle here. And I think I'm going to bring some blue in with this. Maybe like Daniel Smith's Lunar Blue. Yeah, definitely. And Lunar Blue, if you don't have Lunar Blue, you can achieve a color very similar to this, mixing PBK11 and PB15. So your Mars Black and Phthalo Blue. I'm not worried about this getting too dark because I'm going to put stars on top of this, which is really going to lighten it up. I'm going to add a little mist of water here. It's going to start to give my sky some texture. And I need to bring this, I just scratched my paper. I need to bring some more color so that this can stretch out and kind of mingle in with that. Some more of my lavender. And I keep mixing out because once I go into the darker areas, I don't want to pull back up into this and, bring more of the dark in. I'm dabbing my brush off on a sponge in between before I pick up more color because I found I was putting a little too much water. That's why it was pushing this further away. Again, I'm using the neutral tint. Going back to my Lunar Blue. And it feels like most of my lavender kind of pushed out. Bring a little bit more back in. I'm going to take a little rose of ultramarine and blend that with my neutral tint. Yeah, drop some of that in. I'm starting to like that sky a lot better. I think I'm going to leave that alone and let it dry. Once it's dry, I'm going to come back with some Dr. P.H. Martin's Bleed Proof White and splatter in some of my stars. And I'll do this in stages. I'll splatter some in just before it's completely dry. And those will kind of pull out some of the color that's already on the card. And that'll push those stars deeper, further away from me. Then when I come back and do stars again, they will be seen much closer. They'll be brighter. So we're going to get this, pause and just let this dry. And I'm going to let it dry on its own because I want these colors to move on this cotton paper and kind of mix and mingle and do their own thing. So we're going to be back in just a moment. Okay, it's still a little wet, but we're going to go ahead and do the first round of stars. So I have my Dr. P.H. Martin's Bleed Proof White. And I'm going to put some in my little palette here. And then I'm going to use a smaller brush. So this is the one I was painting with. I'm going to use a smaller brush, smaller stars. Okay. This is where I make a mess, a big old mess. And I'm going to put just 2 drops of water in my Dr. P.H. Martin's Bleed Proof White so that it will, come off my brush a little easier. And first thing I do is like tap on my palette because see, those are pretty big. I might not want them quite that big. So that's a lot of paint coming out of that. I definitely recommend testing first. There we go. Then I can start tapping in some stars. And they do fly everywhere. You can tap on another brush. You could tap against your finger. It's dry. I'm going to try to get a little bit more concentration right here in my Milky Way. Tap it again. Just make sure what's coming off my brush is the size I want before I go at my painting. It's been many times I've gotten a star that was just a little too big for what I was doing. And then it quickly goes from stars to falling snow. But this, I don't want to be snow. I definitely want this to be stars in the sky. I'm going to let that set and dry. Some of these, like I said, that white as it's drying, it will pull in. Although normally it's bleed proof, it is bleed proof. The color underneath won't bleed up into the white as long as the layer underneath is dry. But when the layer underneath is not dry, some of that color will come through. So these are going to change color and some will get darker. So I'm going to come back with another layer of stars in just a little bit. So I'm going to let this finish drying and then I'll do it one more time. All right, time for another round of stars. Again, it's going into my Dr. P.H. Martin's Bleed Proof White. I have stars all over my desk. See, I didn't practice my own tap on something else first. Almost got some that were a little too big. Really concentrating through this center because I want that to look like the Milky Way. And I just tap my paper. I'll make sure there's a tree there. Okay. I think we've got our stars. I'm just going to make sure that I put a tree right there and then that extra big spot won't matter. Okay. So now I have to wait for my stars to dry. And then I can come back through and I'm going to take my, either my Lunar Black or Lamp Black, possibly my Lamp Black. And I'm going to paint in my trees so that they're all in silhouette. I don't think that will come up. Yeah, it's fine. I'm really happy with the way my sky is looking so far. Okay, now grabbing my larger round again. And I'm grabbing Lamp Black. And this is very strong. This is little water, a lot of paint. It is a very creamy mixture. Now what I'm going to do to get these trees so it kind of looks like they all are coming around, I'm going to pick a spot. And I'm going to pick right about here. It's like a little darker spot in my sky right there. I'm just going to use that as like my vanishing point. So as I do my trees all the way around, I'm going to just imagine that they all go to that vanishing point. So if I want one here, I'm going to want one there. So if I want one here, I can just put that in. And just going to do, and I want this very creamy mixture because I want it to cover everything. I don't want to be able to see through where it is. I don't mind leaving some spaces where you can see through, see through parts of the tree, that's fine. All right, so next one, I remember I said I wanted to cover that with a tree. So I'm gonna put this on its side so I don't touch that. But it's just kind of helping guide me where I want my tree to be. Again, I don't mind if I see some of my stars through it. And I can just go kind of place my trees around, kind of a guide where they're going to be. Each time I'm pointing towards that vanishing point. And if I need them to go taller, closer to the center, I can do that. As the trees get closer to the ground, I'm going to let them just be thicker, not see through so much. Where I have that space there, I'll probably put a smaller one in the background. Or I may just leave it. I don't mind that gap. We'll see how it looks when it's finished. When the other trees are in. Trees are all different shapes. You want to try not to make them all exactly the same, which can be hard because our brains love patterns, so it'll just start doing the same kind of strokes over and over again. So you really want to try to be conscious to mix it up. I actually think I kind of like the space. I think I like that. I may just leave it like that. I definitely find that turning it as I go to do these trees helps. And you can decide if you need any more. I might do a small one here. My paint is already drying on my palette. Everything dries so fast. And maybe just a smaller one here. So go. I can't decide if I want to fill in right here just a little bit. I'm thinking maybe yes. If this lightens up and it dries and is a little lighter than the trees around it, I'm not going to worry about that. In fact, I'm going to be conscious to kind of negatively paint around the trees here because you see I really kept mixing that down. So it was a little more dilute. So I'm going to negatively paint around these two trees just in case when this dries it's any lighter. It will look like it's behind them. I like that. So I think I'm going to leave it right there. Now, what could you use this card for? You can use this card for any occasion. Use it for a birthday. I hope your birthday's out of this world. Looking up beyond, beyond the world into the atmosphere. You could use it for any number of things. An anniversary card. I love you more than all the stars in the sky. Really? The sky's the limit. Sorry, I couldn't resist. But I hope you'll give this one a try. Definitely drop me a comment or share and tag me. If you do, I would love to see your work. I am just going to take a little bit more lamp black. Again, very strong, full strength. And there's a couple areas here that look like they may be drying a little lighter. This one definitely is drying lighter. You see how that looks like it's more pushed back? I'm just leaving that alone. But like this one right here, I think I'm going to bring a little bit more darks into this. I think it's black, right? It should be dark. Well, if there was any bit of extra water there or what have you, it certainly could have made a difference. So you can go over any of them that you want a second time. And if I do that and it looks like this one is more in front of that one, that's fine. I don't mind that. I still have some of these little spots where you can see through, and I'm being conscious to leave those spaces. Maybe we see the top of a tree in here, right? And that would explain the big connection there. I might need to get it a little taller so it can be seen. There we go. Yeah. And looking how close those are, I think I need one little space right here, but not as tall as the others. So basically, to get this started, you just want to pick a vanishing point on your card and make all of your trunks point that direction. Then it's going to look like you're standing below the trees looking up at the sky. That's your vantage point. There we go. I like it. I'm really going to leave it alone this time. I think I put that one like a little too close. I should have spaced it out a little bit more, but it's fine. Really, this is a card, right? It's not my masterpiece. So it is definitely fine the way it is. Hopefully that will be really appreciated. The best part, right? I am going to warm this up with my heat tool. We will peel the tape and see what we've got. Now, I will say one thing, and I think it's because I came back in with more full strength black. I'm getting a little bit of, I don't know if you guys can see it yet, right there. I'm getting a little bit of a shine, and it might be that it's just not quite 100% dry, and I just need to be patient. But the reason that I chose lamp black is because normally lamp black, I mean, even when I tip it towards the light, it's such a flat black, and it's so dark. It really pops over if I do, like I said, that neutral tint, where it looked like my sky was going to be really, really dark. Once you add those stars, everything brightens up. And then putting that lamp black, you can use ivory black or you could use Mars black. Either, it would be fine. Like I said, I chose lamp black because it was the darkest, mattest, right, black in my palette. So here we go. Let's get this out of the way. And again, I used my Holbein soft tape for this because I wanted it to look really nice. I did get a little on the back of my card from me touching, but it's fine. It's fine. Still think I need to make some sort of merch that has that on there. It's fine. Look at how crisp and clean that line comes. I'm telling you, if you have a project that is important and you want to make sure that you have a good, crisp, clean line, Holbein soft tape is the way to go. It is my absolute favorite tape for taping off watercolor. Look at that edge. And it always comes off so easily. I just want to curl up on my desk. Looks like I pushed underneath it a tiny bit there, which is very rare. Very rare that happens. And it might have been because I heated it up to dry it at one point to speed things along, when normally I just kind of let it be. All right, now let's see if we can flatten things back out pretty well. I just kind of manipulate my card because they tend to do their thing. They warp, but I also find that once I fold my card, if I lay this flat or stick them in an envelope, they tend to flatten out just fine. But look at that. There you have it. Again, you could use this for many occasions. Let me know what you think. Enjoyed this video? Please hit that thumbs up. Give me a like. That definitely helps us reach more people here on YouTube, and I greatly appreciate it. It's one of the best free things you can do for any creator. If you're enjoying the content, I do hope you'll consider subscribing and turn on the bell notification to get notified when future videos come out. In the meantime, my friends, I'm going to pop another video up right over here that you might like to watch next. And keep creating, and I will see you in a video real soon. Bye, guys.